Okay, so we're back at it again. I hope all is well with you guys. Thanks for the commentary and support on my last few videos. I definitely appreciate people coming through and repping these signs because rep your shit, okay? Anyways, I figured I would move everything along and I want to be like real funny and do Aries next. I don't have anything against Aries at all. I actually find Aries to be pretty cool. Very, very go-getter energy, definitely. I feel Aries, wherever you have Aries in your chart is where you don't care at all and you just go full speed ahead. And we need that type of instinct, animal instinct in all of us, you know. We gotta have that instinct where just like, fuck what y'all talking about, I'm gonna just do this shit. So whenever we have that, you know, in the big three or something like that, where it's highly aspected, Martian energy highly aspected, it always going to come off to other people as arrogance, impulsivity, if that's even a word. It will come off to other people as like you just doing any and everything without even thinking clearly, for real. And because opposite to Libra, it's like you're being completely and totally selfish because you ain't thinking about nobody else but yourself. And honestly, because we are living in a world where that is being, you know, emphasized more and more and more, it's starting not to be such a bad thing after all. So for example, if you have an Aries moon, I feel like this is a very strong moon placement because intuition meets action. You're pretty much unstoppable. Very pretty much unstoppable. And it also allows you to tune into when people have when people have a problem or issue or some type of complaint. It's like, you know, people want to fight something or they have conflict. You know, when someone has a conflict, you know where the conflict even is and where it's coming from. Intuitively, you just know. However, they will easily blame you and tell you you're the one that's creating all the conflict, when really you're just reflecting back to them the conflict they refuse to confront within themselves, or even a conflict they have with themselves when it comes to you. And that could really come off like so cliche sometimes, because it's like, if you got a problem with yourself, like Vince Staples said, don't bring it to me. Aries suns, this is where the sun is exalted, so everyone can see the path and the light that you have within you and how you're always going to remain on that path because that's where the sun is exalted. But in places where the sun is exalted, you'll also find where the sun can overdo it. And by overdoing it, I mean like you flexing so hard on people that you make them feel like they're not anything. And you're not even doing anything but except for being yourself. They have a complex within themselves that they're trying to blame you for because of how you see yourself. They don't see themselves the same way that you see yourself. You see yourself very clearly. You know exactly who you are. Aries is I am. You know that you're a god or goddess in this form, and you're here to do something amazing. Or you just know that if you choose to speak whatever energy on your day or on yourself, you know it's going to happen. And Sun and Aries people deal a lot with conflict with people who don't even have a blues clue who they are. That's really where most of their angst come from, is the fact that they don't know who they are. So they create situations to try to expose you as being someone who creates conflict, when really you're gonna solve all the conflicts. And that's not even trying to be funny. You will do very well to solve all the conflicts, so it won't be no more questions that it's not you, it's them. And you have enough self-control, and eventually you develop enough self-control, especially going through a Saturn return, Where you know every conflict does not require you to solve the problem with violence. And sometimes violence is not a physical altercation. Sometimes the violence is you just saying no. Sometimes the violence is you not showing up. Sometimes the violence is you just not giving people your energy. Aries rising. So it's very important, Aries rising, that even though you come off to people, even I got Mars in the first house. My red star tattoo, when I found out I was Mars first house, I'm like, that makes so much sense. But Mars risings, or, you know, Mars in the first house, Aries risings, you intimidate people because you come off as being aggressive, sure of yourself, very understanding of who you are and what direction you want to go in. Like, that's the energy you give off. Even though you may still be in the throes of figuring that out. Now, if someone knows close to you, let's see, third house would be Gemini, right? So you may have siblings, or you may have cousins, or you may have people you've gone to school with, or maybe when you were younger and growing up, you may have ran across people who might notice that there's still some things you don't know yet, and they try to make you feel intimidated or stupid. And you may have had to place them in an area, hopefully not physically, where they had to sit down and be quiet. You had to come and show up and let them know, like, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, and if you got a problem with it, do something. And more than likely, they're not going to do anything. All right, they're more intimidated than anything. That's why they like to start stuff with you, is that they're intimidated. But because you come off initially like as if you can get violent or physically with them real quick, no hesitation, no demonstration, people like to test your patience and see if you're really going to be about that business, or if you are easily triggered, and they can trap you into situations where you might lose some of your status, okay, because you didn't think ahead. You were too busy just snapping and taking action on people. You didn't think ahead. And that's how people can trap you into losing status. Status can be forms of long wealth that you may want to leave your family, you know, in the future, or some type of legacy you want to create for yourself. So be very careful, Aries dominance, that you do not allow people to trap you into situations where you get so angry that you can't see clearly. Okay, it's very important that you practice, you know, Tai Chi or things like that. Some form of stillness, not just being quiet, but being still, so you can literally hear your higher self speak to you over the situation or the person that's trying to trigger you. Okay? And as long as you always have that connection and you know when to stop, there's nothing anybody can ever do to really stop you, because it's always going to be you who stops you. Shout out to the Aries.